Hey guys, this is Dan Patrick, and I'm back with some more art that I've been working on. So I'm going to be working on this Game Boy logo, but before I do that, I'm going to show you some other sneak peek at my art for my upcoming theme. So, you know, I was talking about how I'm doing a ton of logos and stuff in my previous video. This is like looking at all of this. I grabbed basically logos from all over the internet from all kind of sources and would dig through them and look at, you know, what is wrong, what is right, what is close, what is way off, and what different versions were you know, officially put out there and stuff. And a lot of these are not fixed versions. These are just versions I found, and then I'm going and doing I'm doing 3 major sections. So there's arcade, console, and computers is the way I'm setting it up as of right now. The arcade set is complete, basically. And there's just a ton of stuff in here. These are ones that I've actually already fixed. A few of these aren't fixed, like this Gun Con logo. I don't even care about that. I just threw it in here because I found it, and I'm like, well, there it is. But a lot of this stuff I've redrawn completely. You know, many hours of work here, guys. And I also have a new Arcade Classics logo. Get this stinking guide out of the way here. Well, forget it. I can't move the guide. It's locked. I'm going to move my logo. The R has the arcade cabinet. Under the A is a button. Then the D has the joystick. This is in a nice, huge, bold Futura font. I spent maybe, you know, 3 or 4 hours doing this. It's nothing incredible, but it's pretty classy, I think. There's a version like with a little box there. Then I also did versions where it's not the word classics, just like this. So that's something. Let's go. So I got Capcom Play System. There's kind of 2 versions of that. Ones that have this big eyes behind it, then the ones that just have the little number beside it here. I actually got a lot of this stuff from the Emulation Station community, and then I think the only thing I did to these was I changed the font to be Gotham, which is one of the best looking fonts ever. It's an incredible font. It's an expensive font, and I happen to have the font, so I used that. Just replaced the font that he had chosen there, and I basically did nothing else to it. Only very, very minor alteration to the gradient on this. It's not even worth mentioning, but yeah. So sometimes, guys, I do major work, and other times I just do tiny things to these. Some of these are very, very obscure. I don't even know what they are, like what even is lineal automatic at some ridiculously obscure arcade provider. The only reason it's here is because I found it. I didn't do a thing to this logo. It may not even be the greatest quality. Well, it's actually pretty good. But because I can tell because there's very few anchor points, which means it's fairly good shape quality. I don't care about that logo. I just do it in here because it exists. But stuff like this Jalico and this Konami, I actually redrew by hand from scratch. Basically perfect shapes. So I'm doing that to a ton of these logos. And the Jalico one here, is it Jalico? Jalico? I've never known how to say that one. There you go. MAME. I actually did one tiny edit to the actual MAME logo that I found because there was this part that sticks down, like this part stuck down farther than this line, and I just bumped it up to be level right there. That's the only thing I did to MAME. I'm going to go more in depth on all this later. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of some of the stuff I'm doing here. This Techno Parrot logo, I've never seen anybody have this logo in an SVG or vector. I've only seen a very, very low res version of this, and I'm going to credit the guy on the forum, I forget what his name is at the moment, but he uploaded this kind of view of the logo, and I literally drew it from that. So thank you for that. I'm going to stop here. A lot of this stuff is really obscure. A lot of this stuff I've barely even heard of when it comes to arcade. But I just brought it all in here. Like I said, some of them I've completely redrawn, other ones I haven't. I'm going to go have a better overview video of this whole thing later. That's not what this video is. I was going to show you my theme art and how I got into this logo process in the first place. So let me go here. So what are we looking at right now? I've got a background of Wii icons and a background of NES icons. I'm doing these little backgrounds for every system that I want to include in my theme. So I'm trying to support, 40 to 50 systems or something like that. The number keeps growing as I look at stuff and research systems and be like, oh, this is a good system, that's just, there's so much stuff out there, But there's some systems I don't want to do this for. Anyways, what is this? Well, these are accurate drawings from a front or top perspective of game hardware related to one system. So we have the NES controller, the original, the NES cartridge, the NES dog mode controller, the NES zapper, the NES top loader, the top of the original NES, and the front of the original NES. So that's 7 icons in this set, and then it just repeats. So there's an exact pattern to this, and the resolution of this thing is going to be like ridiculously high, so that when it's full screen blown up behind art for the theme, it will still look very, very clear. And it may look too small right now, but they're only 4 icons tall, so when it's blown up, really, really large on your screen, it's actually going to look quite nice. I've spent like 168 hours is exactly where I'm at right now of how much time I've spent on my theme. And all of that 168 has gone to these icons, because there is so much research and work that goes into making these be of this caliber, and making them really truly represent what the console is. I'm going to go into this more in depth in a video later, because I've just got so much stuff I've done here that it's like, how do I even fit it in here? I don't even know what this video is. I'm just kind of going all over the place, just showing a bunch of stuff that I've done. So yeah, but where I was going to go, excuse me, the point I'm showing my theme art here is I was trying to show how I got into this process of doing logos. So it started off with, I'm going to draw these icons, and so I would draw this, and then I realized, well, I want it to have, let's go to the NES controller, because this is a good example. The standard NES controller. I felt, when I drew this, I felt like it was missing something, and I realized it needs to have the logo. And when I put the logo on, then you go and compare. Okay, well, when I traced all these icons right off of images, and I had to dig through all this stuff, and I'll show more of that later again. But I would bring the current logo that was in the LaunchBox community, or just what I could find online. I would drag it over to the image I was tracing, and I would line it up exactly the right size of what the real logo should be. And like in this case, the logo was great, but in other cases, the logo just didn't even line up at all, and that's usually for a couple of reasons. The most common reason was because the logo was just simply not even the right logo. It was like just off, Somebody drew it and they just didn't draw it perfectly, and it was fine. Nobody noticed the difference. But when you put it right up to an image that's, a high quality image of the real hardware, then you see it's like, whoa, that's definitely not the right shape there. So there's that reason, and then there's also the fact that some consoles actually have more than one logo. So this caused me to need to draw other logos. I mean, obviously, this just shows the actual Nintendo logo. This shows Nintendo Entertainment System like that. And then this shows Nintendo Entertainment System like this. So, you know, I have all three of these versions, you know, that I had to create or find. This comes from that aforementioned eonstanley.com website that has several perfectly drawn or sourced right from Nintendo logos, so they're super, super good. But a ton of other ones don't have that luxury, and I have to make them from scratch. So, and like, look at this Zapper logo here. I actually bought this from somebody on Etsy for $3 because I didn't feel like spending the time to draw this one if it was already available. And this logo is absolutely perfect. There is no flaws in this thing, man. This is like exact to the original if you look at it. So that's great. Yeah. What was I gonna do next? Oh yeah. So I was gonna mention there's 3 rules as to what I include on these icons. The 3 rules are this. It either has to be, well, no, I should say it's 3 rules for what text shows up on these icons. Because if you look, there's no A and B button notifications. There's no start and select notation. So the reason that is not there, but the logo is because all these icons follow my 3 rules, which is it either has to be the name of the console, the name of the company that made the console, or the name of the device. So this is the name of the company that made this. This is the name of the console, you know, Nintendo Entertainment System. And then in the Zapper's case, this is the name of the device. Now on the real Zapper, it also says 1985 right here. I haven't included that because it doesn't fall under my 3 rules. If it doesn't fall under those 3 rules, it won't get included. So in the Wii, it's the same thing. You know, obviously the word Wii, duh, that's there. But this controller is a Wii Motion Plus controller. And technically what it should have is the curved words right here, Wii Motion Plus, curved right there. Now I seriously did not want to type and somehow make that work and trace that or something from the real Wii remote controller. And that's when I came up with these rules of like, okay, I can't just have every bit of official branding ever because it's going to be too small or too inaccurate or would take too long for me to do. So that's why I came up with those 3 rules of either the system name, company name, or device name. Now device name is the least common because most things don't have a name on them. Like this doesn't say classic controller on the classic controller. It just says Wii. So that saves me extra work. Anyways, so all that to say, now I say, why am I drawing this Game Boy logo? This Game Boy logo. It's because on the real Game Boy, here's my Game Boy icon that I've already drawn. I'm in the process of making my Game Boy background. So here's Game Boy cartridge, regular Game Boy Light, and then I'm going to have the Super Game Boy and the Game Boy Pocket. And I've already drawn all these. You can, it's grouped. You can see my line art for that. There it is. There's my Game Boy Pocket. But the logos, since it's the name of the device or the name of the system, I'm going to include that. I'm not going to include this B and this A or this start and select, but I'm going to include the words Game Boy and Pocket, that exact logo. I'm not going to include this either, on and off, nope, because that's not the name of the device, the company, or the console's name. And then this is the word Nintendo, I'm going to have that there. Okay, so what I was going to show is, so I did find a vector online of the Game Boy logo, and it looks like this. Okay, let me explain. There's two Game Boy logos. There's the traditional one that we all know. Let me find that. Do I have it in here? I'm sorry, this is such an unorganized thing, you know? Well, okay, I don't have it in here, but this Game Boy Color cartridge, I was doing the Game Boy Color icon earlier, or the background for Game Boy Color earlier, and I forgot that I didn't delete these two. That's okay. This is from earlier, but it gets my point across. This is the thicker logo that we all have seen more commonly, this one. And the thinner logo looks more like this. And then they're both official, they're both real on real Nintendo hardware, and it's also, that same thinner logo is on the Game Boy cartridge. But this logo, as of right now, is not fully accurate enough. I mean, it's accurate enough for most people, but I'm just kind of going all the way here. So I found this image that, well, okay, I found this image, and I also found this image. Nope, not that. This is directly from the Game Boy box, which is just great. I love being able to have this. This is like, you couldn't draw it from a better source than this. And then I found this larger image, which is the exact same art as this, and it all lines up correctly. I've already kind of compared the two. This is the same. I don't know where this website got this image, but they did. I don't think I have it up right now, but anyways, so the point is, this is the real thing. And when I bring up mine, that's not it. What is this? No, wait, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. This is what I have. This is the one that I was able to find online from like Wikipedia Commons. Okay. I'm going to drag this and just kind of scale it to the amount that it is. And it's really, really close. There's a lot good in this, but there's only some slight issues that I'm still going to fix. The angle of this was wrong. The angle of the B was wrong. And so that's some of the stuff that I'm going to fix. So my first step to doing this, which I've already done, I'm going to just kind of skip ahead to get to something actually good here. So you see this black one here that I did. So what this is I did an image trace, and then I did a simplify. So I'll show you what that is. Basically, oh yeah, so I'm in Adobe Illustrator right now. I've never even have mentioned that yet, which is silly. This is not Photoshop, this is Adobe Illustrator. Both are made by Adobe, they're both similar, they have similar shortcut commands. So I'm going to take this logo, I'm going to copy it, that way I don't ruin the original. And there's a technique called image tracing. I have this box over here that already is showing it. So these are the settings I used a second ago. This is going to show you quickly what you can do with this image tracing ability. So I'm going to hit, let's see, yes, that is what I want. Okay, that's a preview of it. So I'm going to hit trace. I have all these settings set to a certain amount of complexity, certain amount of how much corners it's giving me, how many anchor points it's going to put in here. And I'm going to hit trace. So it took the color away, but that's because it just took this rasterized pixelated image and it made it vector shapes. Now, it's still not done, because even though it's nice high-res vector shapes based right off of this official logo, it's still not done because the image trace is always an imperfect solution. A lot of people use image trace, and I mean, this happens at my work all the time. People will give you an image traced logo and say there's the logo, and it's so commonly, it's so messed up that it won't print right, And so we have to tell them, please give us the original image that you trace this off of so that we can trace it ourselves, because this is not quite there. Now in this case, this logo was so good to start with that it gives me a great basis for what I just traced, because this is a really high res image. I think it's like 1200 pixels wide or something, so it's not bad. Not bad. It has a good amount of resolution in there. It might be bigger than that. It might be 2000 wide. I don't remember. But it's pretty solidly got high res. So I don't need any of this top stuff, so I'm going to take all that off. Okay, well, okay. First I have to expand. Yes, okay. Take all this junk out. Okay, now we're left with this. Whoa, okay, just kidding. That was my screen. I saw some weird pixelation. I was like, is that what the shape had, or is that like my screen? But it was my screen for a second. It looked weird. Never mind. What is that white part there? Oh, that's weird. Okay, image tracing is weird, guys. Okay, so now I have this A. I'm trying to get, oh wait, no, it's already the way I want it. I don't want this white part, because I don't need that right now. Get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. Okay, there you go. That's image tracing. Now, like I said, in this case, it's pretty much already there as far as already good to go, because the image I started with was so high res that it works for me. But now what I gotta do, look at all these anchor points. It's just not the greatest shape quality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and hit simplify, which just takes away a ton of the anchors. And you can kind of do this slider and like pick how complicated you want it, but I like how it set it already. That's good. I could literally leave it here and say there's my new logo, but I'm going to go another step or two beyond and make it extra exact. So how am I going to do that? Well, alignment, and also deleting more anchors by hand. So what are the problems I'm going to fix? Well, look at this E. I know that's not supposed to be a curve. That should be going straight, then going down. That's what that should do, but it's not. It curves. Again, is this unnecessary? Probably, because if this is on your screen that size, you probably will never even notice this. This is like a one-time thing. I'm just going to do this once. Nobody else will ever have to do this again. I'll be able to sleep good at night knowing that I fixed everything about this logo. This is so unnecessary, guys, but I'm doing it anyways. Okay, so I realized that's looking wonky there. I'm just looking at overall, what do I need to be fixing with this thing? So it's going to be the curves, like on the edges here. For some reason they didn't get a sharp curve. They have a lot of rounded corners. Okay, so I'm going to start with picking one area to be my top guideline and going with that for every letter. Now I just grabbed a guideline from this top ruler here, and I can see that, you know, there's not perfect alignment all across the board here. And I think actually the original image I started with does not have perfect alignment. See, look, the M I have on that, I have the guideline on that M, and the A actually sticks up a little bit. So this image, I don't know, actually. Let me go back to this one. Let me compare this one. I mean, is that how the real logo is? Wait a minute. Is that really what I'm dealing with here? I mean, surely that's meant to line up, right? Huh. I mean, that's like straight off the box. But then again, you don't know. Okay. What did I just do? Okay, I don't want to do that. Put that back. Yes. Go back. Okay. This could be, though, that like the picture taken from the box was like 1 degree skewed. Yeah, okay. Because you can see it's skewing at a similar amount. See, this sticks up the most. This sticks up a little bit more. This sticks up barely any. This sticks up barely any. Then it doesn't stick up at all. So it's like tilted all just a hair. So that tells me this really is supposed to be lining up. You can see the same thing up here. Down a little bit more, down a little bit less, down a little bit less, not down at all. It lines up. So it is meant to be lined up. So that answers that question. The O sticks below farther, but that's because that's how O's work. They always are lower than other letters. So I got my alignment line that I picked for what I'm going to say is the top. I'm going to pick one for the bottom and say that's what I'm going to go with for the bottom. The Y sticks below that just a hair. That TM, I'm not even going to worry about that. Forget that. Okay, so I'm just going to start going here. So actually I want to lock these guides too. That way I can't move them. Because otherwise you can just click and start dragging them, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to delete a couple of anchors here. Because I'm going to clean... Oh, wait a minute. That already shifted that. Let's throw an anchor here to make this stay put. I'm going to throw one there. That way this... Well, let me throw it right on the line there. Man, I want this to already have a line up. That way I can start deleting these and not have this line start bending inward to that. I want it to be like already a straight area. Let me think here. I'm going to make this a squared off. Look, you can change corners of anchor points to be squared off or rounded. I'm going to square that one off. That way I can have that already kind of out there where I need it to be. That way when I start deleting anchor points, the angle will stay the same. Okay, I'm going to say that that angle is my angle. This angle. I'm going to match everything to that angle. Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, come on, I cut it. I cut it there, and then I cut it here. I cut it there too. Why is it not letting me drag it away? Let's group it together. Okay. This is not cooperating. This is how this is, you know, I make a video and then they all don't want to cooperate. Okay, cut this. I'm going to cut it here in the middle maybe that'll let it cooperate. You serious, guys? Come on. Grab it here. Grab it there. There it goes. Okay. Then this has a little bit of a curvature to it as well. I'm going to get the curvature out of that. Actually, what am I doing? I need to be doing this. I'm done. Okay, there and there. It's a straight line. I'm now going to use that to straighten all this. Oh, wait. I'm going to get a separate line for this because that's going to be the same line here, here, and here for sure. So I'm just going to go through each letter. I am not going to do this whole logo today in this video because it's going to take too long, and this video is already horrible. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this. I might just fix this A and maybe this E and then call it good, and I'll fix the rest outside of the video. And hopefully I can get these logos. The logos are going to come before the theme. The theme's going to take quite a while. Like I said, I've already put like 68 hours is where I'm at. Now it's probably 100, now it's coming on 169 at this point. But that's how much I've put on the theme. That's not including the logos. The logos I've put, you know, a separate 70 or 80. So it just takes forever. But the logos are going to be done before the theme is done. So you'll have that first. Hopefully they can replace what LaunchBox currently uses. Maybe Jason can have them as the new defaults. That's probably what I would prefer because I'm spending so much time on these. Those will hopefully come 2 to 3 weeks, maybe. I say that. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll take a lot longer than that. Okay, I'm going to just keep going like I said. And I'm going to try to fix the A and the E in this video, then I'm going to call it good. The G is going to be a little trickier because it's more curves. The B is really going to throw me. Look, you can already see a little flaw right there. The O might throw me a little bit. The Y won't be that bad. So when I'm done with this, we'll have 2 official logos we can use for the Game Boy. The fat logo is already accurate, the fat logo of the Game Boy version. So that's great, but then this version, I'm fixing it now. So. Okay, a second ago you saw it went black in this counter of this A here. That's because I released a compound path, because when you do image traces, it commonly makes all the letters compound paths, which I don't want to explain that right now, but basically it doesn't think of it as a normal shape exactly. It's a little bit more complicated. When you release the compound path, then it made the hole that was in there a separate shape completely. I'm going to grab both of those shapes, the outer part of this A and that inner part, and I'm going to do this minus front technique I did in the first video I put out there, and that makes the hole actually part of the shape, which is what I'm trying to do. Okay, now I have this angle for the A. I'm going to kind of hold it up to the top here. I'm going to drag it all the way down because I want this angle to be nice and straight through the whole thing. Where should the A line be? Maybe I need to take this back to the real picture here for a second. Let's do that. Sometimes you don't know for sure, you just gotta take it back to the original to get it exact. And image tracing is an amazing technique, and you can see how close it actually gets. Okay, I'm gonna go by the metric of the bottom part, because it all seems like it's about the same. The bottom part will be a good measure to go on. So by that I mean I'm gonna get this line, and well, let me go ahead and line the bottom. Well, then this part is gonna mess me up too. I'm just gonna, no, actually it won't mess me up. I'm just gonna do this and do that for now. And make this, this line is confusing. Let me make this a different color or something so I can see it. And I like that I just put it behind there. That actually works in my favor. So I'm going to drag it right to that edge. Let's line right up to that edge of that. I have a bunch of random anchors I don't need here. That's the handle for this bottom one. Actually, that needs to be a cornered one, a cornered anchor point, harsh corner. I don't know what you can call that. What does it say it is? Convert selected anchor point to corner. Okay, a corner anchor point, that's what they call it, whatever. Here's another anchor point, don't need that. Here's another one, don't need that. Okay, so now that corner top part of this A that I cornered off earlier, I'm now going to drag it right up to the top of my guideline here, and then drag it right to that blue right there, right on that line. Now that's a perfect angle. So that makes me happy. I don't need this anchor. I don't need, well, this one I need, but I'm going to have to drag it up here. I'm going to corner off that one now. Okay, I'll go ahead and cut some of this line here. Okay, no, don't do that. I'm trying to get this line off of this again without dragging the whole thing, but it's all part of the same group, I believe. So it wants to drag the whole A, not just this line. Okay. I need to, oh yeah, it makes it a compound path. That's what's going on. Whenever I cut this, that's what did it. Okay, do that again, because I don't, come on. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna grab the color that I had from this. That way I can see it better. I'm going to make sure that the corners the anchors on the edges of this line are cornered anchor points. So I'm doing that now. There we go. Okay, whoops. Drag this all the way down. If it lines up purple, that means it's lined up where it was already. See that? Now it goes to the purple. That means it's exact where it was. I love that it does that. Illustrator is just an incredible program. I'm glad my work lets me have access to it at home, so I don't have to pay for it. So it's really awesome. I use this stuff at work, and then they're like, oh, you can just log into your same license at home and use it at home for free. I'm like, you guys are great. I rarely ever use it, to be honest. But now that I'm doing this logo project and the theme art and stuff, I've been using it a ton, so that's cool. I usually don't like to do work when I'm not at work, but if it's about something like this, you know, it's exciting, it's cool. I'm having fun. I don't ever get to do Nintendo art, you know, I have to do random restaurant art or something. Okay. Okay, so there's my line, nice and lined up. Now I'm going to click my anchor points right to it so that it's dead on. Nice and straight. That's my cornered anchor point. Okay, that one's cornered. Now I'm going to go down here and make sure there's no more anchor points on this line. This black edge here, no anchor points. So that means it's the best, simplest shape it can be. And then I'm going to drag that on the... Okay. I gotta zoom in more. I can't see what I'm doing. There's my stroke, that blue line. I'm going to grab this anchor and put it right at the edge of the guideline and the stroke. Boom, dead on. Now that's dead on. Man, I don't even know if I'm going to have time to do the E, this logo. This video is already going to be so long, I might just call it after this letter, guys. I mean, this stuff is kind of boring, I know. Okay. Now you see, I just dragged that same blue line right over here. Why did I do that? Well, because the way that fonts and letters work and stuff, there's no way that this line, this black line edge of this, and this black line are going to be different. That makes no sense. That's not how fonts work. So what I'm going to do is find an area that's kind of in the middle of all of this, and call that my official edge. Maybe I'll go back through at some point and like make sure the thicknesses of all these are the same too. That's even another step you can do to perfect it. But for now, what I'm going to do, I'll corner this anchor, which is going to make that go way in, and I don't want that. I'm holding shift to make it to where I can move this along and not have it go up and down. If I'm not holding shift, I can do that, but if I'm holding shift, well, if I'm holding shift, I can do it like this, where it stays in the line. I'm going to have it stay in the line and go right to that stroke. Right there. I'm going to grab this anchor, and I'm going to make that cornered as well. Come on, there you go. Drag that right to the blue there, and right to the edge of that. Minus. There you go. See, look how good that looks. You can tell that that is like exactly the same angle. That's nice. I'm definitely going to cut it after this A. It's going to take too long. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the extra width thing I was telling you about. So I'm going to be that extra about it. There's my width. I just measured it from that anchor point to that anchor point, and I have this box now. That represents my width of this line of the A here. So I'm now going to take that. Oh wait, why is that not lining up? Whoa, what happened? did I do something weird? Yeah, the whole A moved. What the? Okay, I'm gonna copy this, because I'm gonna have to go back several steps and it's gonna delete that. Ah, man. Well, yeah, moved it. Let me go back forward. I'm doing Control-Shift-Z to go forward. Command-Z goes back, but if you don't do Control-Shift-Z, it goes forward. What was I doing? Yeah. I'm trying to... Why did I do that, dude? Okay, I gotta go back some. I messed myself up. I can't believe I did that. There's that box again. I had it copied this whole time. Yeah. I don't know how I... Oh, I know what I did. When I was moving that, I moved the whole A up instead of moving just the anchors. Yeah, okay. I have to click it a second time, I believe, to grab just the anchor. I'm just going to go ahead and measure this to the measurement I already had earlier. The one that I pasted back in here. I've cornered that anchor point here. And you see it, the purple line means that I'm lined up with my width of that box below me. Drag it down to the guideline here, right there. If it says intersect, that means you're dead on, which it just said in purple. Okay, that's lined up good there. I'm doing a video. Okay, now I'm going to redo this part. I'm going to drag that to that anchor on the edge of this here. Right there. Go back to the top of this. I have to read. This is how tedious this can be. You have to like, you know, this happens all the time in graphic design and just in programs. Like, I make a dumb mistake and I realize it like 40 steps later that I've done something incorrectly, and there's no way to fix it except just going back a ton of steps and retracing all your steps again. And it's really frustrating when that happens, and it's just like, well, there's nothing you can do. If you want it to be right, you have to go back. And you know, at my work, when customers are paying big money to have something done for us, then I have to do it right. So I have to go back and make sure that it's of a caliber they're willing to pay for. So that's just how it goes sometimes. Wait, I didn't measure this to my line width. My official line width box. Okay, I'm going to line it up to that edge there, and then I'm just going to make whatever the inner one is match that. This isn't actually clicking to this, but I'm going to make it so close that it's imperceptible. So even though it doesn't want to click to that corner of that, I'm just going to make it so close that it doesn't really matter. I'm zoomed in. Okay, if that thing would leave. That dumb box. It says I'm zoomed in 64,000%, and that lines up. So obviously that's exact. Okay. Click that on there. I don't need this anchor at all. I need this one to be cornered. I'm going to move that back. It's now in the way. Okay, I'm going to corner that anchor. I'm going to drag it to corner and that guideline there. Weird. Oh, you know, this may not even be supposed to be the same width. I'm going to have to check into this in a second. I'm going to corner this one. Did that even do that? Corner? Oh, it also tried to mess up this. That was because I curved it though. Okay, don't need this anchor. This anchor I'm going to drag way out here and do this. Snap it right on there. I think, yeah, that looks good. Okay, so now we're most of the way done here. For this A at least. What a long process, guys. I actually like doing it though. It's like some kind of masochistic thing. Just, it's fun in a really weird way. Okay, so obviously too, my blue stroke line here, it lines up at the bottom, but then the top is so close that I realize it has to be the same. So I'm going to bring my stroke line now to the front, because I can't even see it anymore because the black area was going past it. I'm going to bring that to the front. Let me look at something. This top section I see is kind of boxed off right here. I'm going to see if the original A has that boxed or if that's supposed to be a point. Okay, that is a... Well, it's so pixelated, I can't tell. I don't know why this whole image is kind of funky. It's like more pixelated than it actually is. Like the resolution is higher than the pixelation you're seeing. It still probably has a little bit more information than this image, but they're both close. That probably is supposed to be a tiny bit of a square off in there, I think. It's extremely hard to tell. No, wait. No, because that M looks the same. And that looks like it's squared off too, but that surely is not. I'm going to say it's not. I'm going to say follow the same angle, and then be at a point. Okay. Hard to say, but I'm going to say it's going to be a point. Another thing is going to be the height of it. Let's draw an angle. Okay. Because I'm still, this black area is still lined up with where I had this earlier, so I know that I'm okay to do this. So that guideline represents the height of the A counter. The counter means the hole in the letter. So that guideline represents the A counter of the official one. So I'm just going to drag that right there. I'm going to make sure that one's cornered. The anchor that's behind this stroke. I know it's getting a little bit confusing now, guys. Let me actually put the stroke back behind, sending it to the back, the way it's behind there. Okay. I'm going to delete this anchor. I'm going to grab this anchor. I'm going to corner off that anchor point. I'm going to drag it to my stroke that's sitting behind there. You see it's behind, obviously. Drag it right on the money, right there. There you go, that's a nice straight line. And now that line also matches the bottom part too. So that's when you really know you're perfecting it. Okay. And you see my two, I'm going to move the whole A. You can see they cross up here. So I'm going to have that be how high this thing actually goes. Oh, I'm getting confused. Let me get rid of both these. I don't even need those. I'm going to make my hole of this A go right a little bit higher up here, maybe to there, right at that, see that intersect word that's purple? That shows me I'm right at the cross point of the two strokes. So right there is the money spot. Ooh, yeah, when I deleted that anchor, it made it be one spot already, so it's already right in the center. Cool. Okay, then we're getting somewhere. I'm going to delete, well, no, I need that one, because that, yeah, I'm going to delete this one. Holding shift again. I'm going to square off this one. I said I'm going to square off this one. Hello. There you go. I don't know what I was trying to do. Okay, right there. Right there. Yep. Look at there. Okay, so that's the A perfected. That's one letter. once you do one, it's easier to do the rest of the letters because you already have a formula. So they should actually all go faster than this one. I'm going to leave it there. You guys now see my method of what I'm doing here. So, yeah. And these backgrounds, you know, multiple things are using this logo, so it's going to be useful for me to have that accurate, and it just I want to have it accurate. So these icons I think are going to be really, really cool. I'm doing the red on red color scheme. I didn't explain this earlier, but the red on red color scheme is because that is Nintendo's exact colors that they use. I dropped them from their website. My theme is kind of Nintendo stylized, but I'm also going to have a more gray scaled, kind of toned down one. So yeah, you'll see a lot more of this stuff later. And I'm going to be releasing a theme coming soon someday, I don't know when, and you know, just doing so many icons for so many systems, it just takes a crazy amount of time to do these well and to find the right pictures and to trace them all out. So much work. I'm going to go more into some of this work later, but for now I'm going to end it here, just with this tiny sneak peek of the theme. I mean, not even the theme, just some of the art. And these backgrounds are going to be moving and scrolling. So, you know, as you're picking your games and stuff, each system will have their own background that is looping and scrolling, and that's going to be done with animations. I've already got it working. It looks cool. I'm not going to show that yet. I'm just showing you the art itself. You'll see more from me later. So, and all these logos. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention earlier, but I have a grayscale version, so that if you wanted to have just a black or just a white, I'm going to have that available as well for all these, because my theme in particular is going to need just white versions. So I'm going to have those available as well. But you'll see a lot more from these logos coming soon. So hopefully they'll just release in a couple of weeks. We'll see. I'm going to end it here, and hopefully you guys got a little bit of something out of this. Yeah, so I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.